Following live broadcast is rated ESVPG. I mean, it's a live show. We don't know what the fuck we're going to end up talking about. Good evening and welcome to another episode of Your Shoulder Voice. I am Keith Liffin. Glad to have you here on tonight's show. Well, I can't tell you exactly what it's going to be about because it's an open forum. It's all about you. What have you been going through? What have you been dealing with lately? You got your questions. We can walk you through anything. We can talk to you about anything. Just let us know because it's your show as much as it is ours. You guys ready to go?
Ready.
Woo!
That's two. All right, we got Elena's finger. We're good. Welcome back. Here we are again with another episode of Your Shoulder Voice. I am Keith Liffin. Very glad to have you here. Today is our open forum show on Sundays where we talk about current events, anything that's happened around the week, anything on our mind. It doesn't matter what the topic is. We want to talk about it with you. So if you're out there in the chat, feel free to message us. Let us know what topics are on your mind, what you'd like to see us talk about. Live chat during the show. Engage us as much as possible. We'll respond live. Join the panel by going to yourshouldervoice.com/join. And don't forget while you're out there to like, share, subscribe, and follow to Your Shoulder Voice. Well, nothing without a panel. We can't have an open forum because you don't want to hear me talk all night, right? Well, some of you might, but most of you don't. So let's bring them in. Our first panelist tonight, you know her, you love her, you've seen her, you missed her. She's been coming back lately. We're glad to have her back on the panel. Please welcome darling Nikki. How you doing?
Hi, Keith. How are you?
I'm amazing, as always. Am I anything but?
Wonderful.
That's great. So what's been going on with you? Glad to have you back again, as we always are.
You know, I'm so glad to be back. Nothing much, just busy mom life and kid stuff. You know,
Mom life can be terrible, let me tell you. I've heard all about it from the women I know.
Seriously, we're underrated. People don't get what we do.
You nailed that one. You really are. Moms are underrated. I can't speak as being a mom myself. I haven't been a mom in years, but my mom for sure did a lot of shit, and she kept my house together. Single mother, took care of everything she had to do. Moms are definitely underrated for the amount of work they do, especially because they always put their kids first, and that's what's important. And I'm sure you do the same thing. We know you do the same thing.
Well, of course. Yeah, of course.
Doesn't it ever get tedious, though? Don't you want to say, fuck it, I'm going to Mexico?
I mean, dude, every day.
I was like,
Every day, at least once a day. But, I mean, you know, I love my family, just, holy shit.
no matter how much you love something, sometimes it's good to get away.
Yeah, seriously.
All right, let's bring in our next panelist. Please welcome back the lovely Elena. Elena, how you doing?
Wonderful.
Wonderfully amazing. So, what brings you on this show? I was like,
What do you mean?
you're very popular. You've been requested quite a bit lately, so that's good. So, how have
Hey,
things been
Jane
going?
and I are becoming besties, so.
I'm learning. Hell, let's just bring her out right now. Jane, welcome back as well.
Hi.
So you're besties now. You're besties with Elena.
Oh
That's
yeah,
awesome to hear.
we are. Yeah, we are.
We go way
now.
back to last
You didn't
year.
tell any of your besties to watch this show that you already have, because I don't want them to get jealous or anything, did you?
Oh no, never.
That's good. So what's been going on with you, Jane, since we last saw you 3.5 hours on Wednesday?
Well, yeah, actually, the most relevant thing that I've done was just yesterday. I was a gaffer for a little short film with a group called Stargazer Media. It was probably the most. I don't know. It's probably like the best work I've ever done, and I can't believe I did it for free. But the movie is looking amazing. It's called Porky. It should be out hopefully later on this year. Very happy about it. And then other than that, just being happy to be back.
So explain, is gaffer just sounds like an easy job. I mean, what do you do?
Yeah. So as a gaffer, at least for a thing like this, not only was I in charge of figuring out what lights need to go where in the frame to make it fit what the director wants, but unlike what it is on a normal team and you have like a full out like department, I also have to make sure I get the lighting rigs brought up. I have to figure out where all of the outlets are, how to make sure that we don't blow a fuse, and making sure that we have all the proper equipment, make sure that we have stuff that won't be destroyed in like water or anything like that. It can be a stressful job, but a rewarding one, to say the least.
Well, definitely lighting makes or breaks films and movies, so I know that's important on that. Elena, actually, anybody in the comics, Jake says that does sound easy. Yeah, it sounds really easy, doesn't it, Jake? I get that. Again, if you have anything on your mind, no matter what we're talking about at the time, feel free to just let us know, because we'll switch topics. We'd love to talk about anything that interests you. It is your show as well, so please engage us live during the show. Bring up a few things. First of all, I want to send a little apology out to Bill from the last show we did. And if he's out there watching, just so you know, Bill, I know I cut you off when you were talking about one of the topics, and I should have let you finish your story. I want to apologize for that, because you were going off on something else, and I want to to keep the conversation moving. So sorry about that, Bill, but glad that you are still around and back. You just refused to do the show with us. So Elena, continuing with you, what else is with you? Anything new? Anything exciting?
I wouldn't say exciting, but 2 nights ago, actually, the building next to mine burned down.
Oh, that's not exciting at all. That's pretty boring.
No. But, like, when I hear exciting, I think of fun exciting. But, it was really great. Like, my mom and sister were over for the weekend, and my mom, like, I was getting ready for school yesterday morning, and my mom was leaving to go to my aunt's for coffee. And she called me like 2 minutes after she left. I'm like, oh my God, like I need to get out the door. Like, what did you forget? Like, whatever. She goes, the building next to yours, the roof is gone. I'm like, what do you mean the roof is gone? So I run outside because I was about to leave anyway. And like the fire trucks are still there. There's like 7-8 fire trucks. And they're still extinguishing this fire. And the whole roof of this ginormous building is absolutely gone. Siding from my building is melted off. Like, we didn't even wake up. We heard no sirens.
Wow.
And then I watched the news, like kept refreshing the news yesterday to try to find anything out. None of the fire alarms went off in the building. None of the sprinklers went off in the building. The way that because apparently it started in the attic. So the way residents found out that there was a fire at all, people were just driving by, saw the building on fire, pulled in, saw that no one was outside, and everyone just started honking their horns.
Oh, wow.
To like wake people up and get them out.
See, there's still good people out there.
Yeah,
There's still
and
good
then
people out there.
one of the residents, because our building is like a super secure building, you need a key fob to get in. So like people that don't live there could not go in and knock on people's doors. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Yeah.
They had no way to get in.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the women that lives there, when she was exiting, realizing that no fire alarms were going off, she pulled like the big fire alarm on the side of the building. Still nothing happened.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So luckily, somehow, everybody made it out. The fire department, when they got there, had to rescue, I think, 2 units who still were asleep. The whole building's destroyed, though, because it has no roof. The whole 3rd floor is burnt. And then the 2nd floor and 1st floor both just have severe water damage.
Oh, wow.
What I heard was there's about a foot of water on the 1st floor.
Jeez.
Jesus.
Well, I mean, it's better than fire.
Well, yeah, but it's still horrible.
It's still probably all going to have to be destroyed at some point.
Oh,
And
yeah.
finally-
Like, if your
I
mattress
carried-
gets soaked, you still can't do anything with it.
Yeah,
I find
that's
that
why I
every
carry
morning.
Insurance.
I'm sorry.
You find your mattress is wet every morning, Keith?
Yeah, it's. I have good nights. I do. I'm sorry. I just got to say.
You
I
sell
know. I'm out.
waterproof
See, I'm
mattresses.
outnumbered here. I feel like I'm going back to the beginning, Nikki, when it was me and all women on the panel. I was like- and then we switched, and it was me and all guys, and it's now me and all women again. So it's me versus the world, no matter what. All right, so a few things to come up with. First of all, how was St. Patrick's Day for everybody? Apparently, that's the time to get drunk and fucked up.
I didn't do anything.
I spent time with my mom. We had a lot of fun.
All right, moving on. Okay, so St.
Probably stoned. But
I didn't even do anything this year. For the first year, I'm like, I don't want to fucking work St. Patrick's Day. I'm not working St. Patrick's Day, and I didn't work St. Patrick's Day.
But the parade was like the Sunday before St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, it was so odd. Like they.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, we haven't done it in 2 years. We're gonna do it 5 days early.
Good job. Couldn't be any more patient.
So, well, let's see what else we got. Well, we can talk sports. Tom Brady retired.
And then he spent 5
For a
minutes with his kids and said he couldn't do it anymore.
And you can't do it anymore.
That's exactly probably what it was. He was home with his wife and kids and was like, "Fuck this."
This is what family's
Go back to
about. I'm going back to football where they can pummel me.
I'm gonna
I
die
saw
on
a
this
meme.
field.
I saw a meme where someone was like, Giselle needed a new pair of shoes, so he had to go back to work. I'm like, bro, Giselle makes way more money than he does. So,
I mean, he didn't even retire technically because he didn't miss a fucking game. Nothing.
It was probably the media kept pounding him. So when are you gonna retire? When are you gonna retire? And finally he was like, "Fine, I'm retiring."
Well, he has said
There's
he was going to
also-
retire for a while,
Yeah, well,
and he always keeps that threat looming. Now he really did. I'm like, he ain't retiring. It's fucking Tom Brady.
there's
He wants that
also a
fucking spotlight.
huge lawsuit going on with him coming back right now because he auctioned off his last football that he played
I
a
know.
game with.
Shit.
And
How-
someone paid like $500,000 for this football, and then he came back.
because he thought he was
I would do a
retiring.
freaking lawsuit on it, but I mean, what can you really do? You did it on guesswork. I know he said he retired, but you bought it right away.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, you did what you did. It pissed me off though. $500,000. No, I'm gonna go back to work. Sorry,
See,
I mean,
guys.
who's got $500,000 to spend on a football, anyways?
See, I
Right.
Yeah.
Jesus.
You can afford the devaluing of it.
Right? What the fuck?
what I think is so interesting about it is that it seems like in things, especially like this for football, it's something like really unheard of, and like especially for someone like Tom Brady. But like with wrestling, people always retire and they go into a big old Hall of Fame. They make a whole ceremony about them for like an hour and a half, and then they might wrestle again 2 years later, maybe at a different
Yeah.
company. But it's
Right.
it's so common. So like
Wrestling's really
Yeah.
common because, well, I mean, that's about your ratings. That's about getting rid of people, bringing them back
Right,
and doing. I mean, it's a soap opera. It's
It is.
You know.
It is. But
They
to
retire-
me, because I watch it so much, I've become so desensitized to the idea of Tom Brady, where I was seeing people go nuts about it on Twitter, and I was like, this is clearly your first time experiencing this.
oh god, there's been tragedy all over the place. Apparently, a new hookah bar opened one day, and a guy got murdered in the parking lot
Oh,
at a
shit.
location that we're not going to define on here. A strip mall. So that's happening. There's been a lot of that lately. Somebody else just got shot somewhere close to me. I
Dude,
can't remember
there's
exactly
so much
where.
violence.
It's
going
getting
on.
bad again.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think the reason for that is? Do you think
Everyone's
everyone's just
about it
angry
again.
all the time?
I think it was always
Money.
bad. I just don't think we necessarily always saw it. You don't see every story. You just, now it's just like the public has kind of become the news, so you're hearing more and more about it. But because we're
Well-
nosy bitches, but
I think
Um,
that was always the case. I just think we forgot how it was because COVID took over like the news for 2 years.
yeah.
I think because of COVID, I think a lot more people are angry now. I think people
I'm
just have
sure.
so much pent up rage inside of them.
Well, people are going through depression.
Yeah.
People lost their jobs and homes, and I feel.
But at
blessed
some
they
point,
did it.
don't you think at some point we just got to take our lives back and just move on?
Hell yeah.
I mean, I agree it's bad, and if you wanted to be cautious during COVID, I'm all for it, all this stuff. But just move on with your life.
Yeah.
It's never going to go away. Viruses do not go away.
I
We
never
find
gave
ways.
away my. I was like, fuck you, shove your mask up your ass. I was
But
that
it's-
person, but
It's always something new. I'm going to go a little bit political for a minute, just so you know. I'm going to mention something political. But aside from this, WNBA
Oh.
players still being held in Russia. We know that's still
Really?
happening, but so many people are being held in Russia. They can't get out. We talked about this previously. Were you on that show, Elena? Okay, we were talking about it previously. I can't remember her name again, but she's one of the people held in Russia. Everybody's making a big deal 'cause she can't get out of Russia. They're not letting her leave, which because it was from the Olympics. And there's something like, why is it so important that a WNBA player is being held in Russia, and that's the story instead of everybody else?
because sports sells, sex
Oh,
sells.
hey, that's my buddy Damon. Hi, Damon. I love you.
Hi, Damon.
Thanks for being here. We were just
I'm a
talking before
cultist.
this. Damon is
I guess.
amazing.
I'm a cultist.
Check
Damon.
Check him out. DNA photos. I didn't actually get to do like a big old plug for
Oh,
him.
we're going to do
He's my
plugs
best
now.
friend. He's my best friend. I'm sorry. I have
We
to
do
do
not
it.
get paid for these plugs. We're not even aware they're going to happen. I was like, but yeah, we're always welcome to check out anything if we tell, because some people are just, we want to help everybody out. That's what we do, especially in these times. Everybody needs the help they can get, so plugging is fine. Mass deniers are cultists. Ouch. Ouch. True, but ouch. But everybody, I mean, cultist is weird because it used to have a lot more meaning behind it, and now everybody's a cultist. I mean,
No,
really,
I-
if you
you
think
know what?
about it, any side you're on, you're kind of a cultist because most people are always following sided information without facts.
I had an emergency room nurse tell me, and I was there because my husband was in respiratory distress, and she told me masks were only worn for those people who cough and sneeze and don't cover their mouths up, for the people around them to feel better. But masks do not stop nothing from not spreading. So take your science and call me a cultist if you want. I'm good with it. I don't care.
I
I
think
had a
it's
nurse tell me to take that shit off. I have COPD, and it makes it harder for me to breathe as I'm sucking on a cigarette.
yes,
It
Elena.
makes it. Sorry, it makes it harder to breathe.
He says he will.
I also think a big thing with like spreading disease is people touching their face and then touching things that other people are touching. And when you're wearing a mask, you're not touching your nose and you're not touching your mouth. So I feel like that also helps.
I
a
mean,
lot
we're
for,
all
you
grown
know.
adults. If we can't not touch our nose and our mouth, hand sanitizer, wash your hands.
Yeah, but how many,
move on.
even
No, and I do that all the
post
time. Like, I'll be
COVID, how
walking
many
through the
people are
grocery
doing that?
No, but
I mean, most sanitizer jars are empty that I see.
Yep.
no, but
like-
when I'm going through the grocery store, if I go like this for 1 second, I don't even think about it. I'm not like, oh, I need to wash my hands now. But if I have a mask on, I don't like, you know.
Because you're not breathing. Well, if people understood a little bit of information about masks, then the reason they're prevented, it's not to prevent you. It does help from infecting other people. That's the point. And it helps. It does not necessarily cure. It doesn't totally 100% prevent anything. But it is helpful. I mean, if it wasn't helpful, why the hell do you cover your own mouth when you cough or sneeze? Because you're
Right.
still trying to help the spread of stuff.
Because you spray shit. Like, who wants loogies or snot coming out of their mouth and all over somebody?
Especially
I wouldn't.
COVID snot.
Well, I mean, give me. I mean,
I spit like when I talk sometimes. You know what I mean? A mask is going to prevent that spit.
During the high run of this, I believe that masks were a very good idea. I do believe there's a point we have to let go as well, though.
Yeah.
I don't
Let me
think that
ask-
they were bad the whole time.
let me ask this: how many people have gone to the grocery store, bought fresh fruits or vegetables, took it home? I imagine from nursing school, but I mean, I'll go to the ER and ask her if you want proof.
Okay, oh yeah,
Anyways,
Bill's asking whether or something.
Anyways, people who go to the store, buy fresh fruits, fresh vegetables. How many of you take them home and wash them? How many
do.
of you do not?
I do.
I do too, but not a lot of people do. You would be surprised at how many do not. And then think about the people who went and wiped their ass and then went and picked up an apple next to the apple you bought. And probably you just ate some shit particles, but a mask might have saved that. Maybe.
Okay, but
I'm just
here, well, that's a little weird because it sounds like you're defending masks.
No, I'm not. I'm being, I'm being facetious. Come on. I'm being a smartass. There's
But
so
you're
many-
right.
We never worried about masks when it was flu season and the swine flu was going around or whenever. If you look back in history of all these diseases that were floating around and it was so catastrophic, and we had to go get. I know COVID's different, but
Well, no, but I mean, look at it. You got to see it this way too. You say we never worried about masks during flu seasons. Well, flu season is called flus because everybody gets sick. So maybe if they did wear masks, they wouldn't have gotten sick.
no.
And the flu
because-
doesn't kill as many people as COVID did.
Listen,
And that's
though.
it.
Listen here.
I don't want to get too far on COVID,
COVID
but
is a
Yeah.
virus. COVID is a virus. Other things are bacteria. A virus, when I was a child and my mom would take me to the doctor and the doctor would say, oh, it's viral. We can't give her antibiotics for a viral infection. It's got to take its course, right?
right, you treat
instead-
things differently.
Yeah, the people who were dying from COVID were being treated on fucking breathing machines with, I don't know the name of the medicine, but it started with an R. And then they were coming out with complications of blood clots and breathing issues and not COVID related, medical intervention related.
Well, those weren't to get rid of COVID. Those were to help people feel better while they had it. The virus
and it
still.
was killing them. And it was killing them, and they were still naming it COVID. They were still calling it COVID, even though it was.
We've
probably
never
not
denied.
COVID.
Never denied that sometimes I'm sure numbers and stuff are inflated beyond belief when it comes to COVID because we believe that as well. Obviously, not everything's accurate, but to dismiss it as not being an issue or being as common as the flu typically doesn't kill people, even a virus cold. But this one, some viruses can, and this is one of them. I it's really hard, I think, for people to try to center themselves, especially with the way media presents stuff. That it's not either people are fully against it 100%, it's all bullshit, everything is a lie, or people are full it, it's the end all be all, that's what's got to happen. And we got to find a way at some point to center ourselves and realize media has made us think in such far directions.
This is true.
Logic would make us realize that there is good and bad related to both of this, and you have to be cautious of it. Jane, you were going to say something. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, to alleviate some tension, that I found my PSP copy of Lords of Dogtown. It was in Keith's truck. I just have it next to me. I'm not trying to dismiss any issue. It's just
What
Oh
is
no,
it?
you're fine.
it's a movie called Lords of Dogtown.
Why do I feel like I've seen that? Who's
It's
in it?
Heath Ledger is like the biggest name in that.
Yes, I bet I have. Yeah.
And I want to give a shout out to my friends Sam Carroll and Josh Liddy, because they love this movie. And then when I found this, like, I just, it's a good thing to think of them for.
Well, I'm glad you found that.
Yeah,
Beast-
Keith's truck. Thank you.
Bill's here. He says because the people in Russia are being constantly tested, and she's being held for drug possession. I like, again, I still don't know the full story on all this. We
Yeah,
looked it
I've
up briefly. It's definitely something that's been going on, but if you got drug possession in a country that shouldn't have drugs, you kind of gotta, they get to do what they want here. You're
mean,
breaking the law.
You do the crime, you gotta do the time anyways, whether you're in Russia or USA.
Yeah.
But
There's a lot of people that don't have that issue whatsoever, and they're facing being stuck there as well for various reasons.
really,
Yeah, there's a lot of people stuck in Russia and Ukraine that just can't get out. That's been the biggest thing. They're seeking refuge. Those got bombed. So, on the good side and on the brighter side of things, let's try to steer away from COVID if we can, unless anybody in the chat has something else to add about it. It's okay.
politics.
No, we're fine. We talk about COVID. We talk about COVID a lot. So sometimes I want to steer it a little
Kind of
bit.
hard not to for as long as it's been.
Oh.
So if we can.
Yeah,
Well,
but don't you guys think it's funny that all of a sudden, just bam, boom, it's gone.
it's not gone.
It's gone.
It's not.
No, I'm saying
It never
No
was.
one said it's gone.
No,
In media.
guys,
Boom.
no. Yeah,
They're not
no,
talking
I can definitely agree with Nikki on this. If you look now, all the stories are about like Ukraine and Russia, which is good, like to have that coverage, but it does seem like a lot of stuff and a lot of attention with the CDC has kind of died down a lot.
Because
not
it's
that
dying
it's no longer
down.
an issue, but
But-
it's I don't know. To me, it feels weird. Especially, I think it just feels weird because again, it existed for just 2 straight years, and now that's just like a cliff. It just feels so like we're in a different world again.
I could swear
what
I
I mean?
recall conversations of why the fuck are they talking about COVID when other things are going on in this world? No matter what is in the news, people are saying, why are they not talking about this? Because it's not relevant for the time. COVID is dropping off. COVID is doing better. Elena, go ahead.
I think some of that, not all of it, but I think some of it is people are start to be like, we have a vaccine now and we have a booster. People that have the vaccine and the booster, they're not dying as nearly as a high of a rate as people who do not. So I think a lot of the people that do have the vaccine and the booster, like, we don't fucking care anymore.
Well, it's
Right.
Let me rephrase here. I think the thing that just gets me is because when you think back of how when it started in early 2020, it started with just like a little bit of light news about it, like coming in 1 or 2 cases, and we thought that was it. And then the next thing we know, our whole lives were changed. Every event in the world just went down. Like we just crashed, and it's like it kind of became the feeling of like the new norm, at least for me. So to me, it's just turn on a news channel and not see any report of COVID, really, maybe like one story. It just feels like we're going into a different age with this, like it's so weird. It's such a weird time in history. Like I know everyone has said that now for the past at least 4 years, but oh my God, it's
just getting weirder.
yeah, it just keeps finding a way.
It's
I
been
think
getting
pretty
weirder
awesome
since
to
I
be
was
alive,
kids.
though.
Yeah, I think it is too. Bill says women go across the sea to play basketball in the off season. They make 10 times as much money as they do here for a season
Holy
as well.
wowza. Wow.
Women's
That's
sports don't make shit in the U.S.
They don't. Well, I mean, they
Unless
don't
it's
draw the
gymnastics.
crowds. They don't really draw the crowds the same. I mean, eventually, I hope they will,
Yeah.
but they just don't right now. I mean, it's unfortunately a male-dominated career.
Because of sexism.
It's not because of sexism.
No, it absolutely is because.
If
of
it was because of
sexism.
sexism, cheerleading would be the most dominated career out there.
The fighting hand.
Because that's what all the
Cheerleaders don't
guys-
make any money.
But that's
Cheerleaders
what
don't make
guys
any
go
money.
to see.
Or
The
you be a
highest
PK.
The highest paid professional cheerleaders in the entire U.S. are the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. Everybody knows that.
Yes.
All of them work different jobs. Like, they can't even support themselves doing that.
Well, they only do how many games a year? Is it 16, 18?
Yeah,
Do
so
they
No, but the
play
football
away
players.
games?
Can,
So do the
but
football
Yeah, they
players.
do a lot.
But
most
you're
of them
going
do
to
away
see
games.
a football game. I mean, it's in the title of what you're going to see. So of course the football players will be the prime ones
the
being
Cowboys
paid
don't
for a
just
football
about.
game.
But they make millions of dollars, and these women
I
can't
think
even support themselves.
Let me-
is
let me-
what I'm
let me-
I
saying.
don't believe that they can't support themselves. I don't
No,
believe they
they
can
can't.
support their lifestyles.
No,
I
they
was about
cannot
to say,
support
they can't
themselves.
support their Louis Vuitton shoes.
Yeah.
No,
getting their
most of them
nails
are
did.
very regular humans.
let me say it this way too. I was like job hunting today, and I was looking into becoming more of like a mixologist because that's something I just really like to do in my off time. Hi Jack. Something that I do in my off time, and I found this one bartender job not too far away, but the pay is like $3.75.
That's normal for
granted, it might-
bartenders.
But that's the thing, right? Like, if you're getting if you're putting the time in because you need a mix license, like you need to have experience to do the mixologist stuff, so that takes a lot of time, and the fact that that is kind of worth the idea of like $3, well below minimum wage, I guess to me is just crazy, you know, because that's a lot of work that goes into a whole evening like that.
I've been a bartender for a long time. I've never been a mixologist. But I will say at most places I've worked, well, at all places I've bartended at, I've made well above minimum wage because of tips. I don't think that it should be the customer's job to pay my salary, but
Right.
that's the industry. Like
Yeah.
the last place I worked at out in Grand Rapids, it was Grand Rapids Brewing Company. I fucking loved that job. Everyone I worked with was like literally amazing human beings. I loved the management. Like everything was great. But like there were Saturday nights that I walked out of there with over $500 in my pocket.
You can make the money. Bill says people won't go watch the WNBA, but women's college basketball packs the stadiums. It's a progression thing. It's going to happen. Again, we talked about this on many shows with different topics. People expect stuff to happen all at once. Eventually, it will. We're constantly fighting sexism and equality and racism and sexuality and everything. We're constantly fighting this stuff. It takes time. I said on the last show, which I also wanted to bring up when I mentioned that the trans movement happens so fast and too fast that it gets confusing. I wasn't just talking about trans movements. I was talking about all these movements we're being bombarded with are happening way too fast that people are getting overwhelmed. And this stuff takes time. If your women's college basketball is packing the stadiums, that's a step in the right direction. Eventually, it's going to filter out to be the WNBA, hopefully, if they can play the kind of game that people want to go see. If we can get it out there that people watch it and enjoy it enough. People will watch sports. They will watch different things, but it's hard to do. Unfortunately, we spent too many years with women being put on the sidelines, and we really did. I agree with that 100%. But they're getting out there. Let things take their course. I mean, 30 years ago, there wasn't such a thing as the WNBA. None of this existed. So at least they've got that. So now let's work on packing them. And how many games do you go see, Bill? You know, you want to pack the stadiums, we got to be the people to go pack them. We can't expect everybody else to do it. I don't know the answer, Bill. If you do go see the games, feel free to correct me on there.
Brandon and I have a running joke that because I'm 5'10", so like I'm a pretty tall woman. Brandon's 6'8". He's very tall. So we always make the running joke, like when we have kids, we just hope that they're boys because then we can get an early retirement because women's sports don't make shit.
But I think they will by then. I mean,
I hope so.
We're in a very
I need some
progressive...
volleyball stars so I can retire at 45.
Will it ever be equal? Do you think?
Probably not. Not
I don't
in my
either.
lifetime.
I don't think in anybody's lifetime it's going to be. I think there are some things that are just naturally dominated because they're more interested by certain parties. I really do. Guys like sports. Guys play sports. Guys relate to guy players. And most guys, at least middle-aged guys, grew up in a world where women didn't play sports, so they're not real sports. They're not real athletes.
I
They
do
are.
think that we're taking like steps in the right direction. I just don't
Yes.
think that there will be true equality in my lifetime or even in my kids' lifetime.
I
I think
actually,
it will happen eventually, but I don't think it'll happen.
I think, Elena, I think in your lifetime there's going to be a lot of things that equality is going to take a stand and it's going to measure up for what we
No,
need.
and I agree. I think we're going to keep moving in the right direction, but I don't think everything will be truly equal in my lifetime.
Right.
Do you ever think it's going to flip-flop and next thing you know, women are going to be doing better than guys and guys are going to be fighting for equality?
I think it
that'd be
actually
grand.
should.
But doesn't that create the same situation?
It does, but hear me out on this one. And I know we've done a sexism show, but like, hear
Yeah,
me
I don't
out
want
on
to go too far on this, but
I truly believe that if women were seen as powerful as men, that there would be no male leaders in the entire world. And hear me out on this. I think as a whole, women are more level-headed and less to, they're less
I'm on the
likely
wrong
to succumb to anger. One of my biggest issues ever is that men say that women are so emotional because somehow men have decided that anger is not an emotion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people are always like, "Well, men aren't emotional." I was like, every man in my life I have seen punch something because they were angry.
Right.
That's
do we have
emotional.
any guys in the chat? I'm sorry.
That you've never gotten mad and punched something. People are always so quick to say women are emotional. It's like, no, I get upset about something. I go cry in the corner for 5 minutes and then I boss up and figure it the fuck out. Whereas men take the whole day to be like, I'm mad. I just need to punch shit. You know what I mean?
But they
actually-
punch something and then go have a beer.
Sometimes.
It's
like-
actually been scientifically proven that on a monthly
Didn't you say fuck
basis-
science earlier? Sorry, just kidding. Sorry, I had to. Go ahead.
Zing.
whatever. That men have a more drastic, like emotional roller coaster on a monthly cycle than women, even in comparison to a woman who is on her cycle.
I think it's.
I've seen that.
I think the thing too is that it comes down to a lot of different types of genetics, especially with testosterone.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a prominent part to it is the testosterone.
I think signs play a part too, because I know some very docile men who are not like quick to anger, but then I know some really shitty men who the difference was one was an Aries and one is a Libra.
I also think a lot of that has to do with nature versus nurture. And I do
Yeah.
think that we are seeing a shift in this in society right now, just with like the younger generations, like raising kids and whatnot. Because it used to be, you're a boy, you're not allowed to cry. Whereas
Right.
now I think a lot of younger parents are like teaching their little boys, like, no, it's okay to have emotions. And I think that
Yeah.
a lot of younger boys and younger men aren't so fast to just becoming angry because they're learning
True.
how to control their emotions. Like as women, we were we were taught to control our emotions because
Yeah.
men just weren't allowed to have any,
Right.
and that's wrong. Men have
Say,
emotions.
Anthony, are you available? I need Anthony right
I
now.
honestly think that you would have agreed with me on that.
I don't know in full that women are able to control their emotions, but guys aren't always either. And I think you're doing a disservice. I hate to do it on this panel, but I think it's a disservice to say stuff like that because guys can do the same thing. They can control their emotions. And you just said your own sexist comment that if pretty much we equaled out, women would control everything. Well, that's kind of the opposite of what you're dealing with right now, which is still sexist in a different direction.
No, and I understand that that is sexist in a different direction. I totally understand that. And that's like I'm not saying everyone should think like this on that. That's just how I feel in my relationships with men and women.
See, you
If
know
that makes
what?
sense.
Yeah,
I don't think women are better than men. I think women are more level-headed than men, and it's because of the way men were raised.
I've known some crazy bitches out there. I don't know how true that is, but I do know some crazy motherfucking guys too. So don't get me wrong; they are bad too. What were you gonna say there, Jane?
I was gonna say, I sometimes I just wish I was in the 70s. Like it seemed like just I want to be a hippie. Maybe that's it. Seems to
60s.
improve your 60s. I'm so
Being
sorry.
high all the time made things a lot easier to work with.
Maybe that's what we all need. Just I'll get her high.
Because no matter what,
Yeah.
before all of us were born, they had the best weed. They did.
I don't know. I've had my hands on some pretty good shit lately.
It's only good because it's compared to the crap we grew up with. Not the crap that was existing pre us.
There's no
this
more
stuff isn't that
beaners
bad.
in the shit I'm smoking.
I mean, have you ever watched Woodstock? That was a good fucking time that they were having on that stuff, and so many people got pregnant. Now, nobody who
also
gets high now
LSD
wants to
and-
stand up. Even, nonetheless, go somewhere.
Right?
Yeah.
That's not
Not
true.
me.
I don't like being high in crowds. I like being high at my house.
Yeah,
I'm okay being high in crowds when I'm with people that I can trust. Like I've gotten better with that. So
I'm working on
usually
it.
what my weekend has consisted of on and off is that me and a couple of my film buddies will go to like some really cool places in Detroit where like some local bands they're playing and touring around, some really cool shit. And then they'll usually have like a back area where you can like join like a circle with some of the band crew, like some of the crew and everything. And it's just like a really chill fucking time. And like that's the kind of shit I think everyone should be doing like every Friday night. Just go out there and just relax. Just for like
Yes.
5 minutes. These places are amazing too, and some of them are like so hidden in the city. Like oh my god, like one of them, I gotta say, like where I've had that experience a lot is this place called I think it's called like Armageddon. It's Armageddon Beach Party. And my buddies we go there all the time, and I guess after experiencing that so much, I feel like that there should be a lot more of that happening in the world. Maybe things would be a lot like easier for people to
Yeah.
talk about. You know what I mean?
they were.
Yeah.
They really were.
It would just be cool to see that again. You know what I mean?
That's the thing that a lot of this generation has done is they've made this divide so great. We did talk about subjects, and I talked to Jane about this a little earlier, that we used to be able to solve things. We created the movement that everybody is now trying to force upon us. It was created by the generation before you, and we fucked up in a lot of ways too, because we ruined learning for a lot of kids. We ruined a lot of stuff like that. But we also started the movement of be yourself. You were born into this world because the movement was already started. That's what a lot of the youth of today don't realize. And we could talk about things, and now it's become hateful. It's become get at each other's throats. You got to be on my side or this side. You've got to change everything you do. We were on progression. We have gone backwards, and I'm sorry, I don't think your generation, the two on the bottom, I don't think you've really seen how far backwards we have gone from where we once were.
I don't think we'd be capable to, other than
You
just,
wouldn't
like,
be.
looking through it historically. But even then, it's not the same as experience.
And I hope to God that if you guys get through your fight, that you don't eventually come across going backwards as well. Because it does hurt some of the older generation who have been trying so hard to give you the freedoms to fight for what you want. Women's rights have been going on long before me and Nikki were ever born. The racist fight was going on, but it was our generation that was born into the true start of changing it. It started in the 60s, and we were born later. But
As my kids say, the 1900s.
yeah, we were born
Yeah.
back in the 1900s.
That's new to me. Like that made me feel old. I was born in '96. I was like, "Excuse me, I am 25."
Go to a couple comments really quick. Bill says he did see the Detroit Shocks. He went to the games, and wait, this is going to probably piss Lane off. Tall women are worth the climb. Thank God we already talked about sexism briefly, but that's good. And Oprah.
Bill's always like on the right track. You know what I mean? He's like, "Yes, I was there to see the women, but it was because they were hot." You know what I mean?
It's kind of like our little quagmire.
Yeah.
Oprah, and me, Phil. Right here, so. Also says he is a guy that will punch you in the face if you mess with me, but I cry for losses in my life and my friends. Guys get a stigma of not being emotional. And we really are, which you said yourself, Elena. You said we are. But women try to fight that they're not emotional, which they are.
No, and I'm
No,
not saying.
I'm not saying
anyone's
that's not your
emotional.
argument, but I'm saying that's a lot of what the argument is. Like,
I
women are
think
going to be
men
better.
are more emotional than women. I don't
See,
think
and-
men are or women are not emotional.
And this is what I kind of think about the matter, because when you think about it, we always go through these debates and these movements and these marches, all these same ones all the time. Not to say that they're unwarranted by any means; they should exist, but sometimes, at least to me, it feels as though that we're always going to constantly be in a circle of high points and low points, and I feel as though sometimes it's just like the snake biting off its own tail, and we're just going to be stuck doing the same kind of things, and sometimes it makes me worry that like we're not going to really get as far as we really want to be because we're kind of stuck in the place of gratitude of where we are right now to try to push. I think it's always so much more of the battle than it is the victory sometimes.
It's because of the force too. It's because it feels way more force upon it than it ever had before. I mean, going back to the mask issue with COVID and how Nikki, she's kind of anti-mask. Elena, you're pro. I'm kind of indifferent. I'm more pro, but I'm kind of indifferent because I do believe you have that right, and I don't want to spread it to anybody. But if this would have happened 20 years ago, we wouldn't have had this kind of fight over it. Most people would have probably been okay. I'll do it because because of social media especially, we weren't exposed to so much of this side's lying, this side isn't. We weren't torn asunder by who we agree with or don't in politics, that we hate each other. We've built up so much hate that anything people try to do, whether to help us or not, we're going to fight.
And
We're
the
gonna
whole thing
argue
was
it.
politicized, and that was completely wrong because
Right.
a global virus should had zero to do with politics. And
I don't
that's
even, I'm so sorry.
go ahead, James.
I don't even think it's just COVID as my TV goes nuts and fucks up my lighting. I don't even think it's just COVID. I think it's just with everything. Like there's always some way to make this like bigger argument one side or another, which is fine. That
Well,
that
that's the
shows,
point.
well, that shows, yeah, that shows the importance of everyone's voice. But it also can show like a detriment because it does create like these larger and larger groups that's always just going to find ways to be forces against each other. Then what we really want is a lot of people to just kind of work with each other, fight through it with each other one way or another, and learn that kind of thing. And I know that sounds so like
No,
ideological, but
you're really kind of cementing the point of the world you were born into. Like this is what you're growing up with, and it seems like because you use the words always, whereas I can use the words no. The last 20
Used
years,
to. Yeah.
we used to be that way. We had these marches, we had these fights, we had gay pride, we had all this stuff going on for people, and we had black marches and stuff. And you know what? Those that didn't agree with it didn't go.
that's what I mean.
It wasn't a big deal. It wasn't I hate you or you are against my cause or anything like that. You just didn't go, and you had discussion about it. And the world evolved. The 90s was probably the biggest change we've ever had for acceptance in this country.
Because I was born.
And then that ruined it. And I was like, Bill asked, why can't you get any good bacon nowadays?
Because the good bacon is expensive. $10 a
Bacon
pound.
is expensive now.
Like $10 a pound for the good stuff.
Bacon is expensive now. It's ridiculously
I haven't bought
expensive.
bacon in a real long time. Is it really expensive?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's up there. It's like $8 for a pack of bacon.
I
Yeah,
wish you
I
could buy bacon in like a half pound because like I'm only feeding me and one other person. Like I'm not going to eat a whole pound of bacon in a week. Because I also
So
don't
you know
cook
what you
breakfast
do?
like every morning. Like I do bacon like on the weekends, you know?
Yeah. So you just cut the package in half. Because I do the same thing. I just cut the package in half, put the other one in a Ziploc bag, and freeze it until then you get 2 meals out of one package.
I've never froze bacon. I didn't know if that was like cool. Like I didn't know if
Oh,
that was
yeah.
fine.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
you can
Oh,
freeze
yeah.
bacon.
Okay, cool. Because I do
Bacon,
that with like
Yeah.
ground
I make,
beef and chicken and stuff.
If
but-
you cook with bacon, buying those whole packs and like chopping it up when it's partially frozen and freezing the rest of it is great to cook with bacon. It's so easy to handle that way. And it's
Good
easier to
I
cut when it's
actually-
frozen too.
See,
I
miss
save
them.
my bacon grease for cooking too.
Yeah,
What was that?
yep.
My husband does that because he's from the South. I don't understand it, but his food
Oh, it's
tastes
flavor,
great. So
girl. Yeah, it's
That's fine.
flavor. That's it.
exactly why.
Bill,
I-
Facebook gave me crap about to shut me out again. For what? Go ahead, Jane.
Yeah, I was gonna say, for a while in 2020 and a little bit of 2021. No, pretty much a lot of 2021. I was really into cooking and baking a lot. I would try to at least once or twice a week. I miss going into that kind of stuff. It was always so fun.
I love cooking, and I think I'm pretty good at it, but I hate cleaning so much, like so much
Yes.
that I don't do it.
Well, you sometimes just gotta muscle through it, and that was the thing is the most hectic it would get would be breakfast making. I would do the bacon in the oven because then you
Oh
can
yeah.
handled and it gets like nice crisp. I really like the nice
Yeah.
crisp to it, a thick cut.
I've
God,
made
yes.
bacon in the air
Always the
fryer
cut.
recently. Bacon in the air fryer is
Not
It's
bad,
so
not
good.
bad, but
It's
it can't get
amazing.
burnt. It can't get burnt easily though. You got to be careful.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
it
you have to
can.
you have to watch it, but there's like almost no mess because like even well, like there's less mess in the oven, but sometimes I still get like splatters around the oven. And the air fryer, that's so easy to clean. You throw some soapy water in that and just run it for 10 minutes and
Yeah,
rinse
pretty
it
much.
out. It's clean.
Um,
Like it's great.
Yeah, I would do what was it? It was like a God. What did I do? It was like a cinnamon type of thing. I would do like a sweet candied bacon. It's like is what.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
candy bacon is actually good.
Candy
I don't
bacon.
like bacon all that
I
I
much. but I do
love
like good
candied bacon.
That stuff's addictive.
Mm.
I only did it
Weird
So
that I
good.
like it. I don't like sweets. I don't like bacon, but I like candied bacon. There's something about it.
It's that sweet and salty. It's
Yeah,
like-
I have a weekness for sweet and salty. That's my thing. I don't really
Yeah.
like one on its own, but sweet and salty, I have a weakness for.
If it didn't take
Salted
as
caramel, stuff like that. I love all those flavors. Paydays,
long, yeah.
those are the candy bars I like because I like the contrasting flavor.
If it didn't
Um,
take as long as it would usually, I would probably make it every day. I really would.
Bacon
Uh,
or just
Uh,
candied bacon.
Candy bacon.
Yeah.
It's just so nice. It's like so cheap.
and bacon is good after you cook it. Bill says, it's good after it's cooked for days. It's true, and you can even you can even cook it and freeze it too if you don't want to freeze the raw bacon and cook with
Yeah.
it. It works the same way.
Yeah.
It just make sure you save some of the grease if you ever cook it before freezing it.
Yeah,
it.
definitely save that grease.
Yeah.
There was a I think this was in 2020. No, it might have been 2019. I don't know. I went through this phase though where all I wanted to eat all of the time were club sandwiches. Like
Yum.
strictly. I was convinced I was pregnant. Everyone around me was convinced I was pregnant because like I would wake up in the morning and be like, my 3 meals today will be a club sandwich. Like that was it. So I was making a lot of bacon
Yummy.
at that time in my life.
Bill's
And-
responded. He was almost kicked off for his punch comment. Go ahead, Elena.
But yeah, I would make like 2 pounds of bacon because that's how much I was going to eat in a week because of all the club sandwiches. I'd make 2 pounds of bacon and like I'd put like half of it in the fridge and then I would freeze like the cooked bacon and like it was fine. It was weird that I was not pregnant. Like I don't know. Like,
I was also
like,
addicted to clubs at a
anything
time.
else. Yeah, anything else I ate at all make me nauseous. All I wanted was a fucking club sandwich.
We were talking about the cooked meats. Bill says people lived off meat in smokehouses forever, and they did. Salt was our best friend there. Salt was definitely used to preserve everything, all sorts
Oh
of
yeah.
meat that were cooked and cured. So I got to go back. It's maybe something we can all agree on. That's kind of it's political,
Dude.
but it finally passed. Or I'm sorry, the proposal was passed through, and if it goes through, starting next year, no
Oh, I'm
more
already excited.
daylight
Yeah.
savings time.
No,
Now,
it's
how-
always daylight savings.
Yeah, but no more setting your clocks forward and back.
Yeah.
You know, it's not daylight savings if you don't have anything to contrast it, so it's just gone
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
That's
But it'll
Definitely.
be like it is now.
Yeah, I don't know. I just push it forward and don't do the fall one. We're good.
Right.
Keep
My
it where
mom
it
is
is.
the only person I know that likes when it gets dark at 6 p.m.
Oh, God.
She's a nurse and wakes up at like 3:30, 4 a.m.
that's
every day.
why,
So she
yeah.
likes when she goes to bed, it's dark out. I'm like, okay,
It's
but they
dark,
make
yeah.
curtains for that, babe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We want our daylight. That's like the worst, setting it back when you suddenly lose that hour and it's dark really early. That's what fucks you up.
It was so
Yeah.
weird. It's such an odd thing.
It made sense, but it made sense in a world we no longer live in.
I get
Right. Yeah, when the
Yeah.
workday everyone was out on the farm, yeah, you want it light for that.
That's what it was. Yeah, that's what it was. It was back like for harvest, fall harvest.
Yeah.
Why you say
What did
safe?
It's not a real club, Bill, you tard. And keep commenting. Nobody else is watching. Other people are watching. They're just not commenting, Bill. You're just our commenter today. Everybody's welcome to comment. Sometimes we have one person. Sometimes we have hundreds. It just varies by show.
Bill,
And that's
we love
okay
you.
because we're here for whatever. We do love you, Bill. So you can keep commenting as much as you want. But yeah, I'm really happy finally getting rid of something. And we finally agreed on something. It was like unanimously pushed through.
Yeah.
That's good. We'll see. We'll see how far it goes.
Half hour in between would work. No.
No.
No,
I
get
want
rid
it
of
to
it.
get
It's
dark
pointless.
at 9 p.m. 9 or 10 p.m. would be my
It's-
ideal.
Right. It's
More-
not even all of the U.S. that has daylight savings.
Yeah,
don't
Arizona's
think
sitting there right
Arizona
now like,
doesn't
we
do it.
fucking told you. We told you a long time ago.
Just a waste.
It really is at this
Weird.
point, and I don't know
It
why it
does
took
not
this
help
long.
with seasonal depression at all.
No. And we
At
always
all.
go through it.
Always.
It was not for the farmers. Check it out. It was for several things, Bill, that just don't exist today. That's the point. We don't live in that world. Most of us, I mean, the majority of the population lives in the bigger cities. They live in, they have no use for it anymore.
Right.
It's
And
just
the
something that we've
farmers-
still kept doing.
Since it's such a small population, they could get up a little bit earlier.
Oh, there you go.
There's
It'd be
so
easier.
few
Who
of
wants
them
to
in the
adjust
US.
their schedule twice a year? Because
It's a
it's
lot.
hard to believe, but that 1 hour makes a huge difference.
It's a huge difference. It is, especially when you lose the hour.
Like I have 2 dogs, and like we love going to the park after work, but like I can't take my dogs to the park after work if it's pitch black out. The park's
Right.
closed when the sun goes down, so like
Right.
the whole winter they don't get to go to the big park and hang out with other dogs. I have a small park attached to my apartment complex that I can go to all the time, but like at best there's one other dog there. They're not having fun with that.
Yeah.
I hope
They
that,
want the big park.
I hope that becomes a South Park episode. I doubt it would. It make no
It
sense.
will.
That's
Yeah.
my favorite thing about South Park is that they're like up with it, with the like current
They
events.
within a week they turn out their freaking shows and they're right on top of whatever happened. I think it's amazing about that show. That's why I
Well, the
love it.
producers have,
For
the
the
producers
aliens?
have come out and said that that's why they won't like up the animation. They're like, no, at this level of animation and how shitty it looks, that's how we can produce shit so fast.
It's
It's
still
like perfect.
What were you going to say about the aliens, Nikki?
This is going
Bill-
to Bill's comment right here. It says daylight savings time was for aliens to land. Go ahead, Nikki.
Nothing.
Just nothing. Close the trailer door, Bill.
Area 51, come get out.
Ooh, let's talk about aliens. Do you guys think aliens are real?
Oh,
Possibly.
Oh, this is a good one. Absolutely.
I don't
Possibly.
think there's no way that they can't.
I've
be
seen
real.
Mexicans
All
in this
the-
country that were undocumented. They're definitely real.
No, I'm
There it
talking
is.
about the space apple. Oh, I just showed my bingo
Shit.
win. That's fun.
okay. Can we talk about that really quick? I feel
That's
like
why it was brought up.
in 2021, but like, can we talk about the fact the same time COVID happens, like the government just like released a bunch of confirmation about UFOs?
Yes.
Can we talk about that for a minute?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
And
Keith says
one
no,
talked
but we
about
say
it?
yes.
Go ahead.
And no one talked about it.
That's why nobody talked about it, because COVID was at the forefront. They
Yes,
didn't
I know.
want people to be
But
talking
what the
about it.
fuck? That just means they've been watching us this whole time anyway, being like, man, now they're wearing masks and shit. You know? Maybe they don't know what we're doing.
There is no
I-
way that aliens aren't real. Like that.
I
There's
think-
no way that they're not real.
No.
We're a
I think
conceited
the
species
movie-
if we think such.
I
Yeah.
think the movies tell us a lot of information about the things we don't know. Where do they get these fucking movie lines from? Men in Black? Come on. There are some, I'm telling you, there are some aliens that look like some motherfucking bugs out here, and they're gonna eat you.
Sure.
Or like Scary
gonna eat
Movie,
you.
the aliens pee out of their finger.
The fuck is wrong with you guys? Come on.
Yeah.
It didn't
Pee in your
stop.
eye.
It didn't hide. It wasn't the same time. Aliens have been talked about since the 1950s. Roswell, hello. All that shit. This has been going on forever. This is not new. This is not a COVID cover-up. This is not a government conspiracy. This is not hidden by movies who've had contact with, whose producers have had
No, none of
contact
us
with
are
aliens
saying
and
it
wrote
was
them.
Hidden.
The truth is not in these movies.
It is. It is.
I'm gonna
You
make
fucking Looney Tune.
I'm gonna
It's
make
like, no, it's not.
just to spite it. Just to spite it.
Oh my god. Oh, let's see what we got here. First of all, Bob's Burger movie's coming out. Speaking of which, we were just talking about that. Absolutely
Hell yeah.
looking forward to that.
Oh.
What is
And the
it?
new and supposedly last Halloween movie's coming out. We're not going to talk about that because that's going to be bullshit crap.
Up burgers though.
Yeah, last.
Oh.
Let's go back to
Last
Bob.
Halloween was lame.
It was so
I fell
stupid.
asleep. I fell asleep at the movies. It was so bad.
It wasn't Halloween. It was your typical slasher.
The
It was so
mermaid
stupid.
documentary?
What about the mermaid documentary? I don't know the mermaid
I
documentary.
don't think I want.
I'm intrigued.
I'm intrigued
That's
too.
I'd rather
That's
not be.
who made
intrigued.
my hair color. It's called mermaid hair color.
You got.
I love it.
Done by a mermaid. That's so cool. Is that what
Yes,
the documentary is about?
I've got mermaid pee in my hair,
It's purple.
I don't think I want to watch
and
this
it's purple.
documentary.
What's going on in this show
Nikki,
right now?
I do like that we both did fun colors at the same time.
I
What's-
know, right?
Bill, just curious, what is the mermaid documentary? I'm actually intrigued by that. I kind of want to see that if there is one. I'm curious because I like to be fascinated about things that I see on TV that I can tell the difference in reality and not.
Oh,
I don't actually watch TV. Actually,
Oh, I don't either. I just watch TikTok.
yeah, I don't watch TikTok either.
I watch.
What did I say earlier
I
when we were off the air,
for-
Jane? I was like,
TikTok is so annoying.
Oh, it is annoying. And it's
so done with
definitely
it. Oh,
TikTok has ruined my attention span for sure. If you can't say something interesting to me in less than a minute, I don't care about it.
I know what can help. I know exactly what can help. Were you ever a kid that watched the live action Nickelodeon sitcom shows like Victorious?
Of
like,
course.
okay, so there's this guy. I feel like I've just been doing a lot of plugs, but that's not been the case. There's this guy. His name's Quentin Reviews on YouTube, and he's done like iCarly videos that span over like 8 hours, like
Wow.
long in length, and there's like parts of them. So it's like a good like 2 days worth of content just talking about these shows, and that can hold my attention all evening.
Yeah, that
But
sounds fun.
The second I get on TikTok, I get so annoyed because I feel like there's so much missing. Some of them are good. Like this one guy I watched, like he's a funny one. I won't plug him because I've had my plugs. But
You've met your quota.
We've run out of those.
Too many.
Right.
but he's really funny. But he's like the only one that I find like entertaining because he can do a whole like little story in a couple seconds with like a joke or two.
Yeah.
That
Well,
I can.
that's what I'm
do.
here for. I'm here to laugh. Like I'm not like getting information from TikTok or anything. I know I'm
Colleen's
not
here.
broadening my education.
Hi, Colleen.
Yeah, I
And she
kind
knows who you're talking to about. She says
Yeah.
his iCarly videos are grand.
I don't want to say I necessarily forced it onto Colleen, but I kind of did because I know that she likes iCarly. So
That's fair.
it's interesting. It is interesting stuff.
Bill says, "Do you do the TikTok boom challenge?"
What is that?
I don't know,
I don't
what
know
that
what that
is.
is.
I don't know anything about TikTok.
I don't think I want to know what that is. Just like how I don't want to know.
I
the
do want to
mermaid
know.
documentary.
I still want to know
I've
the
never, like,
freaking mermaid documentary.
Yeah, we kind of.
Yeah.
I'm kind of interested in them. If I have to pick between the two of them,
Colleen says she does indeed love iCarly. But also, let's go back here. Explain this to me with like TikTok and what you were saying, what people are watching. Why have we gotten to a point that we're watching people watch things and watching people play things instead of watching and playing them ourselves?
That was on YouTube far before TikTok ever came around, first of all.
I
But
said,
Jane, go
why have
ahead.
we gotten to the point? I didn't say anything about it being TikTok, but something you said during that conversation, or talking about watching iCarly videos, stuff
it
like that.
allows us to live through things that like we don't feel as though we can do in a more glamorous fashion.
You mean sit in front of a TV?
Well, if it's edited really well, I hope it's more than just that.
Sit with a controller in your hand and play the game?
But what if you
Instead
can
of watching people play it?
But what if you can't afford the game?
You can afford the game.
Games
I'm not
are
even going to listen
expensive.
to. Yeah, but I'm not going to listen. You can't afford the game. If you can afford the microtransactions on your fucking phones and all these little game cards, so you can play Fortnite longer, you can afford the fucking game. All right, there's.
I feel like
That
most-
is one thing I
Yeah.
always ask Brandon about, though, because like he loves League of Legends. Like that's his thing. That's cool. But like, if he has like him time, he's either playing League of Legends or watching someone play League of Legends. And I don't understand watching someone play it. Like that, I don't get.
No.
I don't,
Like,
and
he
that's
makes
become a
sense.
thing.
Like he has this chair. This is his office chair.
Oh my god,
He got this from Christmas from his mother.
what a dork!
And he
love
told
him.
me later on that this chair is over $500.
Yep,
What?
yep, that's how they
It's
go.
a
That's how they go.
chair.
It's because of
And,
that
like-
logo. Here's the thing.
You can buy an
It's
iron-on
healthy.
icon like that and put it on your own fucking chair.
Let me start off. Let me start off this little rant. with the preface that I hate video games with a passion. I don't care
Okay.
for them. I'll play them, but that was also
Okay, anyway, I don't like people who hate
Bring
video
her
games.
back!
I'm just kidding. I'm done.
like
That
they
was
have
rude.
merit.
Vanished.
You know, like I understand like games like Earthbound or Legend of Zelda or Mario. Like I own a Switch. Like I'll
Me too.
play them, but to me, like I just don't want to spend all that time. Like sometimes when I'm like bored, like I got the new like wrestling game. That's because I like wrestling, and it's like, oh, I can play this for a little bit when I have nothing to do. Because you know, it's like getting like Mortal Kombat, like going to the arcade and stuff.
So
But
video games you like are cool, just you don't get all the other ones. I was like,
exactly.
okay.
If anything, it's like they are the test drive to the car to see if you want to purchase.
I think a lot. I think a lot's been lost in video games, especially over the. And this is not an insult to you guys, particularly, but the last generation. A lot's been lost. They've been so focused on graphics and the shooting games that they've all become the same.
Yeah.
You know, we used to play games. Now we had our day of games being very similar way back when, but the rise of like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, PlayStation 1, and PlayStation 2, those all went through starting to bring stories. And people played for the story, for the knowledge, for the
Zelda.
adventure.
Oh, that was my favorite one, Zelda.
Yeah.
I mean, D&D is still huge, and that's
Yeah.
all story.
Oh, I miss
Mhm.
D&D so much. Oh, I miss.
Oh my
it so
gosh, why don't you play it anymore?
I need a group. Okay, here's the thing.
Wait, so I don't have a group, but my husband does, and they're looking for someone else to play, and he
I'll
keeps
come
trying to get
by.
me to play it, but like I'm really not interested because I know nothing about it. But I
can-
love that he loves it. So like, join them. They're all
I'll-
very nice people.
But it's also Grand Rapids, honey. That's so far for a D&D campaign.
No, it isn't.
Oh, they play online.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. But do you remember
They do
like
Saturday mornings.
this stuff? This started as a D&D campaign, as a superhero D&D campaign in high school, and
Love that.
the story of it was like my friend Dominic, he wanted to make like a superhero campaign because he loves like the MCU and all that shit, and so do all of us really, but like at differing levels. And we were at a thespian festival, and we were all in a hotel room together. Me, my friend Kyle, Mason, and Dominic. And he was like, "Do you guys want to play the campaign now?" And it was already like,
All right.
That happens to me all the time.
Yeah, me too. Me too. That's why we keep alcohol handy. Smooth the vocal.
I did.
cords.
I,
For a
I,
while,
course, this
I
ruins
was
it.
the only one drinking, and I
I'm
felt
smoking.
uncomfortable.
anyway,
I can't drink
I'm
alcohol.
so sorry about that. Anyway,
This is like what I'm known for: drinking one hand, a cigarette in the other.
No, I know. I just haven't seen your drink till now, James.
It's
I'm sorry.
No, you're okay. It had already gotten late, and I think my friends could all agree that, and a lot of times I can be a tight ass. And I was like, man, we're being idiots. We have like this is for like our futures for college, like, and we're fucking around playing D&D. Sure, fine. And we sat down in the middle of the bedroom, you know, like a little hotel room, and we were playing it at like 2 a.m. And it got to the point to like name the superhero team. Dominic had one, but I made the suggestion of just calling ourselves the Fuckwads because that's how I felt like we were acting at that moment, and it has caused like a lifelong bond ever since, to the point where it's gone to the like the wrestling stuff. D&D fucking rocks. I just wish more people played it.
Okay. Okay.
Fair.
Okay.
Sorry. I know.
So
that
D and D is right up there for you with wrestling.
I guess. That just shows how much of a dork I am.
We like dorks. We like
Well,
dorks.
I'm not.
Dorks are good.
One of
But,
my favorite memes that Brandon sends me all the time is there was this TikTok that went viral, and then a million other people did it, and it was like, ladies, the reason you haven't found your soulmate yet is because you've never dated someone with a light up keyboard. And Brandon sent that to me, and then I died because he has like a rainbow light up keyboard. Like, it's beautiful. His setup, great. I know nothing about video games, but like, beautiful. 10 out of 10.
It's pretty.
Like, even his computer itself is
Yeah,
rainbow.
My kids are like that.
I've never gotten that invested into a PC. I just feel like it's so much. Like I know especially for the job I'm doing, it would definitely be like worth it.
Yeah.
Mermaid.
My son, my 17-year-old
the
is
body
going
found.
into
I want to check that out.
2011. But my 17-year-old is going
Thank you.
into computer engineering, the one that's going to MTU, and when his dad passed away last November, his dad would build his own computers. So my son took his computer thinking, it'd be useful for later. And he comes to me and he's like, I need to upgrade the RAM and the, what was it? The graphics card. And I was like, oh, okay. And he comes to me and it was like $500 and something. And I was like,
You might as
Oh,
well.
that's
holy
cheap.
shit.
You might as well just invest in a car or like an apartment.
No.
No, he got it. I let him get it. It was his dad's computer. He wanted to keep it, but
I get you.
yeah, $500.
Everything's too expensive. Especially
Yeah.
right now, and thanks to COVID and the chip shortages we've had, graphics cards are like 300% markup right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
plus.
that's why he paid so
And
much.
considering they're like $500-$600 for the higher end graphics cards,
Yeah.
those
Well, that's-
things are $2,000-$3,000
Yeah, you can't
right
get-
now.
You can't get, if you can find them in stock even.
Yeah, there's still even you can only find them on people who bought them and are reselling them pretty
Exactly.
much.
And that's what he did, is it was like a resell still in package kind of thing.
Not to mention with scalpers too. Scalpers really ruined the game a lot.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Ticket sales are ridiculous too.
Oh yeah.
You get the scalpers doing that. And the worst thing is, I don't know. There was something on. Does anybody here probably not watch? Last week tonight, John Oliver. It's a show on
I
HBO.
did watch this week's.
No.
And
I
watch
don't
this
have
week.
HBO.
He did a whole one of his last episodes. I think it was last Sundays, and it was all about Ticketmaster
Yeah, yeah.
and
that-
how much they outrageously upgrade the prices, and it's not just them; it goes to the artists, and how much you're really paying for all this.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous. And anything that comes in demand, it's suddenly charging more money. But we're not going to pay you more money to get the stuff you want. We just got to
Exactly.
charge you more. We're not going to get into the pay debate. We've done that several times before.
Well, plus two.
I mean,
because we
everything's
haven't had
expensive right
concerts.
now.
Exactly, because we haven't had entertainment for how long?
Well,
they're
this-
like, oh, these people are gonna be freaking paying anything to go.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Ticketmaster hiking up these prices is not a
Oh, I
new
know.
thing. This is not a
I know.
COVID
Yeah,
related thing, but especially now because people are desperate to go because you're right, they've been stuck inside so long
exactly. Yeah,
that they need to.
No, but like even the price of rent right now is fucking insane.
dude,
It is.
we decided to stay where we're at, and I honestly I didn't want to. We need a house with a garage and a yard, but did I want to be paying double what I'm paying now? No, not really.
Yeah.
So I took the $200 hike versus another $800 hike. That's retarded. To stay
Which
in
is-
the same area.
The apartment I'm living in right now, like it's a 2-bed, 2-bath, about 1,100, a little less than 1,100 square feet. It's not huge. I do have an attached garage, like 1-car garage, which is nice, but I pay $1,800 a month to live here.
What city
Like
are you
that's,
in?
I'm in Grand Rapids.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, and that's
And
why
I'm
you're in a
not
big city.
downtown. Well, I'm not downtown though. I'm still 10 minutes from downtown.
Yeah,
I would understand this price if I was downtown and I had a 2-bedroom apartment. Like that makes
Yeah.
sense. But I'm not downtown. I'm like right on the outskirts.
yeah. It's just what market value is right now.
Yeah.
insane.
But it's fucking insane. It's so hard because like we want to buy a house. Like we're in the process of buying a house right now, but it's so hard to do because all of our money is going
Yes.
towards rent.
Us too. Like I don't want to buy a house in this market. No, thank you.
No,
You know,
I
I-
don't either. But
I
I
argue-
feel like
Go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
Okay. No, I was going to say, I argue a lot of times why don't people want to work right now? And you're right, with the price of housing and everything going up, in a sense, it makes sense why people don't want to work because they're not going to make enough money to pay their bills anyway.
Right.
Like, they're going to work 40 hours a week and still lose their house and still lose their car and still lose everything they
I
have.
don't know that that's entirely true because there's a ton of places hiring. And had I not been dealing with some medical issues that kind of set me back and they said, hey, deal with your medical stuff and then come back and reapply with us, I was making and bringing home close to $950 a week. Now I was working 6 days a week. I was working, 9 hours a day, 6 days a week, but I could have sustained my household by myself on that income.
You
I-
possibly could have, but a lot of people pay a lot more than that and make a lot less.
Well,
You got
true.
lucky to
Yeah,
make
sure.
$950 a week. People who
Yeah.
are making, one of my friends, he gets paid like $18.50 an hour. He works 4 12-hour shifts a week, and he brings home like $500 with taxes and
Jesus.
everything. With
Holy
like
shit.
11-hour
You must
shifts
be
with
claiming
lunch.
high or something, because I was making 18. I was making 18 an hour, claiming what I should be claiming, and bringing home a
Well,
fat check.
it's a big issue with like how low minimum wage is right now, just because like back when like my parents were my age, they like my parents got married when my mom was 25. So when she was my age, they were okay with my dad only working. Like when
Yeah.
they started having kids when my mom was 26, like my dad was the only one working, and he doesn't have a college degree. He's worked his way up and he makes a lot more now than he did then at the same job, but he was not making great money. And you could do that back then. You can't do that now.
No,
like
now it
Brandon
takes
and
Well, it
I,
sounds like it. Well, if you say you're making $18 an hour, it sounds like you're making a lot, but that's 720 a week. Now cut a third off that for taxes
Yeah.
and stuff on average.
Right,
You're
it's
bringing
not
home under
shit now.
500, and that is less than 2,000. If your mortgage is 1,000 to 1,200, you have $800 for all your groceries, for your utilities, for your car, for your insurance, which is outrageous. You know, and you have nothing left if that. It
no,
sounds
and
like
that's
it's more money.
over double what minimum wage is right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
because of
You could
demand,
make that on
yeah.
minimum wage. Like you could have done that on minimum wage 30 years
You
ago.
literally, yeah,
you
you'll make like
can't fucking do it
1,200.
anymore.
You'll be lucky to hit 1,200 a month on minimum wage working 40-hour weeks. That's how
Lucky.
bad it is. Lucky to hit 1,200, depending on what you're claiming in taxes. And like Nikki, if you were doing good, but if you had to find a job and you worked and you got minimum wage for a 40-hour week, you wouldn't be able to afford your house.
No, not
And
minimum
companies
wage.
do not want to pay overtime right now because why do they have to when they can keep paying these other people minimum wage or the lowest amount possible instead of paying time and a half in overtime?
Well, I
Yeah,
think
but
that's
if they
why a
don't
lot of
have the
people. Well, I think that's why a lot of like everyone says like there's so many places hiring, but nobody wants to work. I think people over the past 2 years have realized what I do in an hour means is more valuable.
more valuable.
Like, it's more than
Yeah.
$7 an hour. Like that's
Yeah.
fucking gross.
Well, too,
Which is
a lot
why I
of
always agree with the
offices-
increase, but the increase should have happened gradually.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
A lot of the office jobs have gone to remote working. So people like my sister, she works for another company, but her old company called her, offering her a job working from home, making double her money. What is she going to do? Of course, gas is extra high. Of course, she's going to go to the work from home job. I would.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
yeah, I would too. But that's why people don't want to work too. I think some of it has to do with, like Elena was saying, with the time off and everything, realizing how valuable they are. They don't
Yeah.
want to work and still not be able to succeed.
Yeah.
They realize they're kind of in the same boat not working as they were struggling working. I mean, thanks a lot to government money that helped people out in some ways in unemployment.
Right.
But still, unemployment was paying some people more, some people less, but they were still struggling to keep things.
Yeah.
Some were stupid, and Amazon got really busy
Yeah.
because of them.
No, and that's what I always like want to just like preach when people are being like when like there's a lot of people out there, myself included, like I don't have a college degree. I can't just go out and get a job that I can support myself on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, like this freelance stuff, like I love it to death, but it kills me, especially because I got to think of all this stuff like 1099 stuff. I have to act like I'm my own business, and I'm 22 years old. Maybe people like a good number of years, like when they were my age, could be able to do it, but for me, the way how I've been going, it's a different.
It's not
story.
possible anymore.
It
Yeah.
becomes a struggle, especially when in a place like Michigan, there's tons of really great and talented filmmakers, and so it kind of feels like there's already like this mini Hollywood just here in Michigan. But that's what makes it even harder, is because everyone is trying to be good and everyone wants to try to get in. Some of them might not even like aware of what to do, and it can be challenging, So like sometimes I wonder like, but it's also like you gotta do what you love.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's the sad thing is we used to be a country, and this is one thing I will say, we used to be a country where you could live your dream, where you could find your dream and do it. But small
can't
business,
fucking do
single
that
businesses,
anymore.
sole proprietors, people like that, people starting out, contract workers, gig work, they don't have a chance in hell anymore to do this. There's nothing they can, and I'm one of them who's trying to literally, because I lost so much during COVID, build it back. Because we can't do that. We can't afford all this stuff. We can't make the money we used to have. We cannot follow and achieve our dreams anymore without having to work double at some other job, which makes it impossible to get our business moving or going.
Yeah,
Right.
and it's
That's what people aren't realizing. The
it's been
small,
terrifying.
yeah, the American dream is almost a thing of the past at this point. I'd love to see it come back
Hmm.
Oh, absolutely.
because we still
Like
need entertainment.
that's why capitalism is great for small
Hmm.
businesses. But
Hmm.
now we live in a capitalist society where small businesses are fucked.
Yep.
Yeah,
And that sucks.
the thing that we always had in this country that it's a big argument on the table politically right now is that we were a good combination of socialism and capitalism and all this stuff. We combined it well. We
But
knew
now we
how
have
to take
nothing.
care. Yeah, and now it's a fight. We can't be one. We can't be the other, or anything like that. And this
But
president's going
even
to do
though
this. This
both
president's
are
going to do that,
suffering,
and they are because we've lost the ability to work and actually work for the country rather than a side of the
yeah.
country. And I really want to get back to learning or working for the country. And I'm hoping in 4 years that's going to, or 3 years, that's going to happen. You know, I hope when we get rid of, I know people agree or disagree, but with Trump gone and hopefully when Biden's gone, we can get back to electing somebody that really cares about both sides. Because we haven't
Absolutely.
had that. I don't care who you agree with, if they benefited you or not. Neither one really cared about both sides. And we need to get back to that.
I don't know that that exists.
It did. It did.
Or so we thought it did, but
If we achieved
smoke
and
and
we
mirrors.
succeeded and we got where we were in 100 years, I don't care if it's smoking years or not, we did it.
Yeah.
So obviously something worked.
Yeah, but look at
Businesses
what
thrive. They grew.
they
People
did.
made it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
I know
fucked
that a
up.
lot of what media and administrations have wanted to point out is how everything was always fucked up. But nobody looks at where we went. How far we came from 1920 to 2020. In 100 years, how we went from the Great Depression of having nothing and built up to the biggest economic power in the world. How we these businesses in Metropolis has got started and booming. How small businesses became the driving force of our country. It was because our government knew how to treat everybody.
And now they
regardless-
don't. They have
and
no
they
fucking
don't.
idea now.
They're too busy blaming, again, steps backwards, not just in movement, step backwards in politics. As Bill here says, you'll never have another JFK. You know, and it feels that way. I hope we do. They are out there, but we need them. Too many people get focused on what a side is telling them. Whether it be media, whether it be political, no matter what it is, you're so focused on that that you forget we strived being human beings. We did what we had to do, and it was within our reach. That's the difference right now. It's not within our reach. You know, I'm sorry for Jane. She wants to get into movies right now, and she's absolutely right. This is such a huge struggle. How do we get ahead? How do we move forward when our own country seems to be working against us? And again, I don't care whose side you're on. This has been going on for more than 8 years. You know, no matter who was in power.
Honestly, but what keeps me hope to it is just the community that I'm around. Like I'm surrounded by a couple of these really great, really tiny companies that care about this kind of stuff, and I think that's something that a lot of jobs in the country don't have. Is that idea of even if you don't agree with a lot of people, you try to find some unity, or you don't try to become very backstabbing, even though sometimes people kind of might deserve it just because they might have done some actually like legitimately bad things. But there's something to that, for better or for worse, at least.
Well, you nailed it. You absolutely nailed what we need to do. Just people aren't doing, which is rely on the people around you. Block off the rest. Do what you got to do for you. Surround yourself with the right people if you want even a chance
right.
of succeeding. I feel that we're in an area that we are definitely blocked off. And we're told we can't do it. Why? Because we're not going to allow you. You're always going to be beaten out by the bigger corporation, the bigger guy. They're going to get the breaks. They're going to get the help. It hurts what made this country great. Bill says, go through your mental knowledge and see if you remember any politician that has done the country right.
We need
Sure.
to tax the rich.
Sure. I mean, it depends on what you consider right. I mean, I'm going to do it right now. Let's start with Trump. Trump did great for our economic culture. He helped grow our economy that was started on the president before him, Obama, who turned around a great recession that we had and also continued to drop unemployment from 10% to 0.5 in his 8 years in office. Prior to that, we had Bush. And before that, we had, Clinton, who at that time presided over the greatest economic recovery we'd have in history. We had Bush before that. I can't really go through everything he did. Reagan, who fought, Bush was small. It was all Persian Gulf, so there's a lot of war surrounding him. I mean, you go back to Reagan. Reagan flip-flopped the two sides of the parties. He pretty much made people believe and see the other side of everything. Everybody that thinks that Democrats have always been this, they're wrong. They were Republicans prior to Reagan. And everybody that thinks Republicans have always been this, wrong. They were Democrats prior to Reagan. Reagan also helped to get jobs. He also helped to get the schooling systems going. Nancy Reagan did a hell of a lot for schools. The First Lady. We can go back through presidents. They all did stuff for this country. Yes, you can find their flaws, and that's all any of us wants to fucking focus on. Agreed, some are easier than others. If you don't like Biden, you don't like Trump, you're going to find flaws you can bitch about with them, absolutely. And you know what? They're very founded. But to say no president did anything, that's wrong. They did. I was never a Trump fan, but Trump did good things for this country. But so did Obama. And so has Biden. I'm not going to get into the political argument because we don't want to, but they all have their positive strengths and weaknesses. Only Jimmy Carter overall, and he wasn't a megalomaniac. I don't agree with that. You can go back all the way to like Roosevelt and Eisenhower and just go back through the list. Not all our presidents have been great, that's true. But to just act like they never cared or none has ever done it. Again, look at the past 100 years.
And I totally think we need to start we need to stop worrying about just parties. I think people need to run without, people just need to run and talk about what they care about and what they want to do for this country. Their party
independently.
Yeah, everything should just be independent. This is what I want to do for this country. Because if someone came out and was like, I want more equal rights across the board, LGBTQ plus, I want more rights for women, I want more rights for Black people, I want more rights for Hispanic people, I want more rights for Indigenous people. But also, I want to focus on the economy, and I want to focus on the economy in the sense of those people and in the sense of, white people. I think that would be a big deciding factor, because now you see a new person coming out, and you're just like, oh, they're Republican or Democrat. Normally, I align with Democratic people, so I'm just going to vote for them.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's treat American people as citizens of America. As equal citizens of America, regardless what one of the presidents, God hope one does it at some point. Biden had his chance. Trump had his chance. Everybody has their chance. You get in office, you control the Senate, you control the House, or you control enough to get shit passed through. Get rid of the fucking two-party system and put term limits on shit.
Everyone needs term limits.
Yes.
Everybody needs term limits.
Do it your first. You will be the greatest president probably in history. I don't care if you were Trump or you were Biden. If you did that right away, because you have changed the future of politics forever.
Yeah.
Career politicians should not fucking exist.
Yes. And Biden and Trump would have zero chance of even getting close to on the ballot this next election if we opened it up to everybody.
Show when he wrote in, you don't get to order for the table when you're leaving the restaurant. That's how I feel about career politicians. They're ordering for the table because they're all old as fucking shit. They don't care anymore. They're doing what's going to make them more money. So that's what they align with. And that's fucking disgusting. You don't get to order for the table when you're leaving the restaurant.
That's what I've always preached to everybody. I'm like, we need young. I don't care what side, honestly. We need young. We need someone with vision with the future.
People.
And we don't need them to be 20 years old, but we don't need them to be 60 and 70 either.
There's a happy medium.
Yes, it's called 40. And the age is 35. So you can do it.
Yeah.
So you can get in there. Because young people have to live in the world they leave, just like Brandon's quote said. Old people do not. They're going to leave and die. They're going to leave, be taken care of, and they're going to die. They don't have to live in that world. They don't care. None of the
People that are
past
70
presidents.
years old should not be making decisions for people who are 20 years old.
They can't even decide what they want at fucking McDonald's.
Neither can I.
You know exactly.
That's why I don't want to run this country.
Nah, dude, 20-piece barbecue buffalo. I'm good. Maybe I should do it.
I'd vote for you, Jane.
I'd vote for you too.
Sure.
Everything needs to start in state, and they don't elect a megalomaniac or an ancient. Exactly. JFK was a great example. Obama was actually a good example of that too. When he was elected, I get there was he was black and not born here, whatever people want to say. But
I was born here, but
I know, but I mean, I get all that was surrounding him and stuff, and you have your reasons for disliking it or anything like that. But he was young; he had the chance to. Now, mind you, he tried and he fucked it up, but at least he tried.
Who do you think? No, never mind. That's a dumb question. I'm just trying to be funny.
Be dumb. Go ahead.
Okay, who do you think like smoked the best weed? Do you think it was Kennedy or Bush? I really think. No, you know what? Never mind. Kennedy or Clinton. Part of me.
All right,
really
you're high now. I'm sorry.
Definitely. He smoked a blunt from a Cuban cigar.
Who did?
I bet he did. Bill Clinton. I bet
Oh,
he
for
did.
sure.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, but he never inhaled.
That guy used to play the
I
sax.
did not inhale.
It doesn't count when you don't inhale. And now, when is the next set? Oh, God, Bill, if you're on it, it's probably something to do with sex. I'm sure we'll have another one coming up soon.
I'll be
that'll-
on that.
Oh, I'd love to get you on. Well, actually, weren't you on one of them? We did.
No.
Oh, we got to get you on.
No, I mentioned like we should do a sex show, and you said yeah, we're going to.
Oh,
Well,
we
we
did.
already
You weren't
did
there. We
Yeah,
did
and I
another
wasn't
one.
there.
You weren't there.
It was. I know it was my fault, but I'd like to do it again so I can be
Right.
there. Like I know it's my fault.
All right. Well, that's all fair. I mean, this was some good conversation there. We got definitely everywhere a little bit. Everything from aliens. By the way, going back to aliens, of course they exist. If you don't think they exist, well, then you're an idiot. I mean, to be
Correct.
egotistical enough to believe that we, in an infinite universe, we'll believe in multiple dimensions, but not that there's a being on another planet.
Right.
Yeah, no,
Fucking bizarre.
I don't buy it.
You know, I was like, of course,
They-
of course.
They walk among us.
You know.
I mean, you forget from any other planet in this infinite universe, we are beings on another planet.
Right.
So it's ignorant to think otherwise, unless this is all a dream and a program of technology, and we're just running through a computer simulation.
Wouldn't that be a fucked up ending to life? Like you.
It'd be
realize
kind
that
of just
and
somebody hits the power button, boom. Okay, well, that was fun, guys. I was like,
then- Oh, okay.
all right, well, I
Like The
appreciate.
Sims.
Yes,
Remember the Sims game?
we are Sims, controlled by an outside force.
Probably. Fuck. I don't know. Huh.
We could easily be. I don't even know anymore. There's a lot of. We got to do a show on conspiracy theories, though. You know.
Oh, I would love to be on that.
We should do a
Me too.
conspiracy theory show.
She is
'Cause
so
Mandela
stoned right
effect?
now. I'm so
Mandela
jealous,
effect?
Jane.
Am I that bad?
The Mandela effect. Yeah, that would definitely be part of it, because that's
Those are fucking crazy.
Okay. I had heard a theory a long time ago, and not to, of course, it's going to be something movie related. I'm sorry, but it's true. But it's this belief that that time exists on like a pure circle. So like the events that happen in your life end up resetting back at that circle. That
Uh-huh.
belief that everything that you've done is like always done the same exact way over and over, with maybe some kind of variation, but usually the same way. That's why you have like deja vu and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's that belief of like the second that you die, you're just reborn again and you start the cycle over again. I'm not a big believer in that because I feel as though like that defeats the whole power of choice. But holy shit, could you imagine? Like,
See, but to subscribe to that theory, it's to subscribe to the idea that everybody before your birth failed never existed, and everybody after your death never existed.
exactly. Like that's
So
what I'm saying. Like,
only one person could technically have that happen to them. Nobody else in the universe could.
and that's what I'm saying is so bizarre about that theory.
Yeah. String theory, and of course, there's multiple universes. Another one we're talking about. Yeah, we should definitely do a conspiracy and theory show and just go through some stuff. Get a little. That'd be fun. That'd be fun. Talk about the nutcases out there that believe the stupidest stuff, and you know, everything from aliens to baby eating. We'll get through it all.
I feel like you're looking at me when you say that.
I can't. If I'm looking at you, I'm actually looking the opposite direction because the way this is done. Right now, I'm looking at you. And
I
I'm
just
looking
feel
at her.
guilty.
You eat a lot of babies?
No, I believe that they do though. The
Who's they?
the lizard people, the lizard people.
Oh,
V was a great TV show. I hope they bring that back.
I need to watch it. I have that whole series on VHS.
Originally, it was 1983. They did it, and then they did 2009. They rebooted it for 2 great, amazing, phenomenal seasons, and then left one of the biggest cliffhangers in history.
Really?
Bigfoot's another one. Bigfoot's another one that people believe in or don't. Yeah, we'll do one of those. I don't think we have time today because we're an hour and a half. Our forums usually don't last that long, so I don't want to do a 3.5 hour again. Which was good, but don't want to do it again. So I want to do it definitely again. Thank everybody for being on here. This was our open forum tonight, where we talk about anything you want. As you know, it's just a scattered thing of topics, current events, anything you ever want to talk about, just let us know. You can always join the panel by going to earshouldervoice.com/join, and we'll always respond live to everything you're saying. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and follow to Ear Shoulder Voice on Meta, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram. I'll get to you in a minute. Thank you to my dogs. But that's but that's not the only time you can talk to us. You can reach out to us anytime. If you go to our Facebook page, you can message us. We'll talk to you about anything that's going on. If you just need somebody to lean on, somebody to talk to that isn't going to judge, and we won't be a solution. We're just somebody to listen, and we're somebody to have a voice to talk to. Because sometimes that's all somebody needs is to reach out. But if you don't want to leave your name, do it anonymously. Go to our website, and you can chat anonymously right through our website. Or you can join the social network and talk with other people like you who will be glad to help you with your problem. So thank you again for being here. X-Files from Bill. Yes, absolutely. More conspiracy. Yeah, we'll have that show coming up. Coming up on our next show is... new shows every Sunday. New shows every Sunday and Wednesday. Our next topic is Life Aborted. We're going to see a similar panel on here. I don't know if Jane's going to be joining us, but I'm pretty sure Lena and Nikki are going to both be on that. And we're going to be talking with some other people as well. It's not necessarily about going through abortion, so we will cover it. It's more about involvement, rights, what it's like, how big the decision really is. Is it really just sluts can get rid of their babies? Or is it something deeper? You know, it's something people don't understand. And we're going to talk about it with no judgments because that's just not what we do. Nikki, glad to have you back. Thank you for being here. As always, you're amazing. I love your opposing views. They get me all excited.
Yeah. I like to challenge the norm.
I think that's important. I think that's very important. You're a female, Anthony, and we like you. No, you have some great thoughts and ideas. You back up your stuff, and I appreciate that very much. I always like when you're on here, and you always add plenty to any topic. Right. Jane, good to have you back. I mean, you've broken record time for most people of being on the show, and you've only been on 2 of them. So,
just happy to be here.
Well, we are very happy to have you. I like what you say too. I like your drive of the conversation as well. As long as we try not to mention wrestling or D&D, because that just you can see his pants are wet. Her pants are wet. I'm sorry. Right now, I said her. I corrected it. Can I ask one question? I've got to know this. I have one question. It relates a little bit back. One thing that Elena argues, and you say too, that people confuse transgender with sexuality. Yeah. I have one question about that.
Okay.
Why is it linked into LGBTQIA when all the others are sexualities? Why is trans in there?
That honestly is something I really don't know. I think in itself, it has to do with its own form of ability to be something that's such a widespread type of example, that it felt as though it was necessary to add it, though it does look very bizarre next to being sexualities. But, some people just identify it, I guess, at the time in a different fashion than what it really means today. I couldn't say too much on the subject, though.
That's okay. That's something that always struck me. I think that's one of the reasons people confuse it sometimes. Do you have anything on that, Elena? Just curious before we cut off, because I wanted to ask that, and I meant to on the last show.
I mean, I don't know. I would assume it's because the queer community took in trans people and made them feel comfortable, and that's why they kind of merged into one.
Oh, okay. That's a whole thing.
That's just my theory.
That's a whole.
It is. It was really just a curious thing. I didn't think either one of you actually had an answer to that, but I was thinking, why is it if the biggest argument for trans people make is the fact that it's not a sexuality, why is it grouped into sexuality?
then maybe that
Yeah.
means we have to do a bit more research and come back
Yeah.
and talk about it.
That probably is something that confuses people and why they constantly, even myself, do kind of group it with sexuality every once in a while. I gave my reasons on the last show on why I group it in there, but that could have something to do with it. But thank you all for being here. Thank you for those words. Elena, glad to have you. I didn't get to say goodbye to you. So glad to have you on here. You're always good. You're always entertaining. And again, your passion is just, it's a driving force, just like Nikki's passion. That's why you two are great on this show, especially. Because I want to see you go at Nikki one time. Like you
Uh-oh.
go at Anthony, because I want to see Nikki
Nikki
fire
and
back.
don't disagree as much as Anthony and I do.
No, but there are topics that definitely you would disagree on that we haven't hit yet.
Correct.
And I would love to see your battle there, because sometimes I think with, and I love Anthony to death, but sometimes with Anthony and you, sometimes I think it goes a little bit more off topic, more to the I fucking hate you, I'm wrong, you're right attitude, more
Which
than
is so
listening.
funny because Anthony and I go to the bar and get a drink and we have a great time.
Yeah.
But that just what goes to show is like people can have differing views and
Yes.
still be friends.
Yes.
Truth.
Like,
And
yes,
they definitely
do I think that Anthony is a bigoted piece of shit? Absolutely. Do I want to go sing karaoke with him? Absolutely.
We all have those friends, and we love them. Thank you again for being here. We'll see you all later. Bye.
Bye.
When you're alone and feeling down, and you're 10 feet underground, when you're so deep you're about to drown, when you're in the lost and found, 'cause heartaches only last a day. Ooh, but your heart will never fade away. Go out and find your way. Don't let them take your soul away. Not a week, not a single day. Hold true to what you wanna be. Never let go. And here's the key: be you, yeah, only you, only you. Be you, yeah, only you, only you.
That was quite the varied show. Dog's mad I'm back
We
on.
talked about a lot.
We really did. We mixed it up. That's what open forums can be, and that's what we kind of got to do. And we don't always have. Sometimes the chat doesn't fill with ideas, so we just keep it going with random ideas, because that's what we do. We just talk, and sometimes people will be on, sometimes they won't. So how was your open forum compared to your topic show there, Jane, if you get a minute?
In what way do you mean?
How was it compared to the topic show you did Wednesday?
I think it was really fun. Something I really enjoyed about this one is being able to hear like everyone else's beliefs on different topics, as opposed to just hearing a lot of what I had thought about the particular.
Typically,
topic.
that would have been the case. We kind of lost that because we lost some of the other guests we were supposed to have,
I
so
know
it
it's
did kind
a-
of fall
a
on you.
special case, but it made it so varied and interesting and fun. You know, just being here, being able to smoke, because last time I wanted to make sure I was really focused. This time I was like, nah, this is just chilling on a
We're
Sunday.
just hanging out.
Yeah, we're just hanging out.
That's what it is. It's a chance to. Sometimes Sundays will get deep. That does happen. And sometimes they're just lighthearted. I mean, we can always talk about the vagina candles again. That went for a very long
Oh,
time.
God.
Big fan of the
Go
vagina
for-
candles.
We love a vag camp.
I still have so many questions.
No, we don't want to get to it. We all do. We all do. I'm still waiting
No,
for
like
one in
I'm
the mail.
definitely gonna buy one because I want to know what it smells like.
Yeah.
You see, that's
Like, I
that's where
wanna
I'm
know
torn.
if her
I
and I
do, but
smell
I
the
don't.
same.
I
Like
more
I want to
wanna
know if we
how,
smell the same.
I want to know how accurate the smell is. That's
Then
my-
you
Right.
Then you need Gwyneth
Because,
Paltrow to come up with you, say, "Well, here's the
Right.
real thing, and here's the candle."
Well, it's not even that, but like I've smelled not only myself but multiple other women, just like as being women, and I want to know if it actually smells like a vagina, because everyone does smell a little different. That's cool and all. We're all unique, But I want to know if she's like putting out this candle that smells like waterfalls and daisies and being like, "This is what
You
my
know.
pussy smells like," because it probably does.
You know she
Oh,
did. It's
probably.
like rainbows and butterflies.
Yeah.
Like she opens her legs and she's like, oh, like all these
Beam of
butterflies.
light comes out, and it's just
No, and I agree
doves
with the
fly
beam
out.
of light. I agree with the beam of light. However, that's not what your pussy smells like. It's not. Not saying it smells ratchet, but
Right.
It probably doesn't smell like a candle, but I don't know because I like some of those candles. I swear someone was baking a pumpkin
What
pie,
if,
so it might be accurate.
What if they made like a Bean Boozled jelly beans? Like every
Oh,
time
God.
you get one, it itself is a different smell, so you end up with one that might be
Yes.
daisies, and then something that's like
Yes.
rancid.
Like
That'd be
vomit.
Okay, I can deal with that. I thought we were along the line of vagina candles. Like, whose vagina is this? Definitely Roseanne. No.
ooh, that'd be fun. Wait, that's
No,
fun.
no,
You
that
make
is-
a candle
that
that
is
smells
awesome.
like that, and you don't get to learn whose pussy it is until you burn the whole thing,
I'm
and then they'll
good.
tell you.
I don't want to know.
Well, you
that.
have a marketing campaign with a contest or something. You just like literally release different colors, and you say what celebrities they are, but not which color belongs to which, and you try to get
Yeah.
people to figure it out
It's
which
like the
one
Masked
plays.
I feel like
No,
it's
but
like
it would
the Masked Singer.
only work if it actually smelled like their vagina.
Right.
Because I don't want
Right.
to start hearing that like Beyonce smells like daisies and Reese Witherspoon smells like roses and so and so smells like waterfalls. Like I
If-
want the actual.
Honestly,
scent.
I don't know how I feel because like any guy or girl, I have never been close enough to them to where I've said I need the smell going throughout my house.
Right.
I was like, ever. I don't care if it smells good or bad. I do not
mean-
need that smell to fill the atmosphere of my house.
Yeah,
You're correct.
no,
Maybe
that's
we
what
need
I'm-
a scratch and sniff.
I like the snatch and sniff. I like the way you said that.
Snatch
A snatch and sniff.
Snatch and sniff celebrity pussies.
Oh, good. You guys can have that on your own. You can invest in that. I'll
There's a market for everybody.
But if people could sell their bath water, I'm sure people could sell their candle veg.
People sell their farts now in a jar.
Yeah.
like
Yes, they
30,
do.
Like 30 grand
Chick
or
bought a house. Chick bought a house and a car selling her farts. Good for her. I
Good
guess.
for fucking
Brandon
her.
says he'll be the judge on that. Oh, Bill.
Because he knows what her pussy smells like.
Well, we'll find out. He doesn't know. We know that.
He doesn't know. I promise you I know that. That would have came up
All
on
he's
our
going to
first
do,
date.
every candle, he's going to be like,
wait.
I don't
who's
know, but
Brandon?
not as good as yours, honey.
No,
Yours
that's
is
what's
better.
great that's what's great about Brandon is that he's honest.
Cool.
I don't know if you should be honest about that because I don't care how honest you are. And like, it smells way better than your snatch. I don't know how that
But
would go
the thing
over.
about-
This just went
the-
from like a cute little like gimmick idea, and now it's gotten like so.
We're gonna bring it up enough times on this show that it's gonna become a thing. That's the ultimate goal.
I don't think I like that. I
We'll
don't
have
think-
like everybody from the cast will have their own candles. We'll have vagina candles. You guys can have
like ball sweat candles.
Ball
Yeah,
sweat
he's
works
gonna have
great.
Ball sweat
Yeah,
candles.
we'll
yeah.
have
No, what the fuck?
I
we'll
have
have
not
like our
purchased one of
personal
those.
scent candles.
You're nasty. Jesus Christ.
I don't want a vagina candle. I want like my personal pheromone candle. Pheromone candle
Yeah,
maybe.
that'd be nice.
I-
That's good. Nikki,
Don't they already?
If I get that, I'm inviting a lot more people over my house.
Right. Orgy.
Right? Got to get him in the
far.
mood. Why is that too far? Oh yeah, let's do ball sweat candles and pheromones and vagina candles. But Keith, don't have friends over.
No, I wasn't saying don't have friends over. Because I can
Yeah, whatever.
The candle. I cannot be part of your orgy.
That is
That's-
too much.
If I get the right candle, you can be.
Y'all are